Ladies and gentlemen, we have a very special occasion here tonight. Bring the cameras out here. Bring everything. Ladies and gentlemen, we have the camera people from MTV here tonight. We have the winner of the Lost Weekend here tonight. Because Detroit, you're number one. And because Kurt, you're number one too. Yeah.
Kurt Jeffries never really thought he had a chance to win the Wild Partying Weekend on tour with Van Halen. After all, he was one of more than 1 million entries. I grew up in Phoenixville, Pennsylvania. Phoenixville was not a dead town, but just not much going on in Phoenixville. And I remember watching quite a bit of TV. I had 2 brothers, 2 sisters, and we spent many hours in front of the television, watching sitcoms, Happy Days and, Laverne and Shirley. And we watched a ton of MTV. They played music 24/7 on MTV back in those days. Michael Jackson, Madonna, Scorpions, and the Crew. I remember when I was watching MTV, when I first saw the commercial for Lost Weekend with Van Halen.
Get ready for the MTV Lost Weekend with Van Halen. Do you have the guts to enter this contest?
Destination unknown. You'll have no idea where you are, you'll have no idea where you're going, and probably no memory of it after you go, but it'll be the whole weekend.
At the time, I knew Van Halen was there, like at the pinnacle of rock and roll bands. They played hard and partied hard.
You win 2 days of Van Halen concerts, parties, food, sound checks, loud music, and...
How about a little joyride in the back of my limo?
I was thinking I might as well enter it because I really never entered contests, but I figured Van Halen and the prizes, a couple motorcycles. Somebody got to win. Why can't it be me?
The Lost Weekend. Difficult to learn, risky to perform, and worth every minute of it, baby. I'll race you to the phone.
That's a postcard, David. Send it to the MTV Lost Weekend with Van Halen. P.O. Box 1211, Radio City Station, New York, New York, 10101.
So I went out and bought 8 postcards and sent them 8 postcards. I walked past post office when it was like 5 days before the deadline date, and I said, I'm gonna buy some more. So I bought 5 more and make it lucky 13.
From Phoenixville, Pennsylvania, and this postcard, over 1 million were sent in, and this postcard belongs to Mr. Kurt Jeffries from Phoenixville, Pennsylvania. Congratulations, Kurt. Let's give Kurt a hand. He's the winner.
Should I tell you about the phone call and everything? My sister was home sick from school that day, and she said telephone, it was like about 12:30. I'm thinking, who the heck be calling me right now? I said hello, and she said, hi, this is Barb Fleeman from MTV. When she said that, my heart dropped about to my kneecap. And she said, I just want to verify your age on this postcard. Then she said, are you 20? I said, she goes, when's your birthday? I said, December 3rd, 63. And then she said, okay, good. I just wanted to inform you that you're a grand prize winner. I said, I don't know. I said, oh my God. My palms, my hands were sweating. My sister said, you better sit down before you fall down.
I remember many times thinking in my head, even before 1984, how unbelievable it would be just to hang with Van Halen. One of the first questions people would ask was, who am I going to take? I remember telling my girlfriend at the time, and she said, great, are you going to take me? And I said, no. It's like you're going to go on a couple-day excursion with Van Halen. You want to take one of your peeps. It had to be Tom.
I had no idea what the hell to expect. You know, it was a big deal for a couple of yahoos from Phoenixville, Pennsylvania to go and, you know, hang out for a couple of days with Van Halen. And they came and picked us up at Kurt's house in a stretch limo.
You know, it was dynamite, sitting in a limousine, first time in my life, and then we actually drove the long way through Phoenixville, you know, with the smoke windows and seeing people checking us out, wondering, you know, who's in there. The limousine took us down to Philadelphia Airport.
I was going on my first flight, and it just so happened that my first flight was, you know, as it should be for any kid that's, you know, 20 years old, be on a Learjet.
When we arrived in Detroit, cameras out there, you know, open the doors, and I come out, and I whack my head on the door, and you can hear the pilot say, "You want to try that again?"
Try that again?
Get off the jet, hop in a limousine. Limousine speeds us to the hotel. You go into the hotel and find all these guitar picks and backstage passes, Van Halen jacket, Van Halen bandana, hat, and then we cruise over to the Cobo Hall to meet the band.
Before the concert, it was hanging out with Eddie, Michael Anthony, and Alex. You know, David was needing some sort of medical attention, presumably from the night before's antics.
First drink I got was from Di Bernelli, wife of Eddie Van Halen.
Eddie was like a little kid backstage, had the guitar on the whole time, just shooting the breeze with us.
They were so unbelievably cool. I mean, they treated us like we were, like they knew us.
They came and got Kurt from where we were.
They asked me to come back behind the stage and then gave me a big MTV Lost Weekend t-shirt to put on. There's a guy back there smoking a joint, and I took a hit of the joint and, you know, took some swigs of Jack Daniels. And when David finally called me out on stage, I was already feeling pretty good.
We have the winner of the Lost Weekend here tonight.
Because Detroit, you're number one, and Kurt, you're number one too. It was beyond, you know, anything I ever felt before being in front of 13,000 people.
God bless you, Detroit! God bless you, God! We're all gonna be famous, Detroit!
The rush was unbelievable. See, this next part, you know, it's just,
The real partying started after the concert. Full bars set up. You know, there's a couple of different bars there. There's the guys in the karate outfits are running around, you know, and they're rolling joints up.
drinking, smoking. Got to start a little cocaine off of David Roth's pinky.
Groupies who are back there, you know, chasing after the band. I do remember hearing some activities going on in a bathroom, if I'm not mistaken, or in a shower or something. I just remember hearing a belt buckle hit tile.
Are you receiving sound in there? We are. You getting sound? This just goes to show that you really can win MTV! Oh, my God!
They had him pretty lit up backstage and got over his skis a bit that night and got out of hand. It got to the point where I think it was freaking some people out.
At some point of that first night, I finally blacked out. I really do not remember.
That's when I think I came clean with the MTV people about the accident.
A few years earlier, 30 days into college, I went to my first and last fraternity party and, drank and got intoxicated and then walked back to the dormitory, and I walked out into the stairwell and I walked into the railing, fell from the 7th down to the 6th floor, like 13 feet, landed on the side of my head, ended up having blood clot on the brain, and a traumatic brain injury.
And this was a serious accident, so much so that we didn't know for several days whether Kurt was going to make it or not. I remember going into the hospital and seeing him in the ICU and not recognizing Kurt. My great friend, best friend, going back to when we were little kids, and I go in and can't even pick him out of a room in the ICU.
The truth is, I shouldn't have been drinking at all.
Even if he fell down and hit his head, that could throw him back into a coma or whatever the case may be.
But I was a 20-year-old young man who, in my head, I was indestructible. And I had my buddy Tom there as like my wingman watching out for me.
I loved Kurt. He was around my whole entire life. I don't have any brothers. So when things got out of control, I wanted to make sure that, he stayed safe. The MTV folks and others who were there thought it was in Kurt's best interest, as did I, that we bring the night to a close. Here is the Philadelphia Inquirer. This is taken on the Learjet on the way back to Philadelphia, which leaves nothing to the imagination about how hungover we both were.
I didn't tell MTV about my accident because I didn't think anything of it. I was the grand prize winner, and I was going to go experience a lost weekend with Van Halen.
What happened to you last night?
Just had a blast, man.
You think about the way that would look today, and you'd have a 50-page release and lawyers out the wazoo before you could even do a tenth of what happened or what we saw. There'd be a limit on everything, and there was a limit on nothing for us in 1984.
I guess I do feel like I'm a little part of Van Halen's history because it was a huge event.
It was an awesome time and an opportunity to really get inside the rock and roll life. You wouldn't trade it for anything.
I mean, my God, I'm alive, and I won lost weekend. I mean, my God. I guess I would consider myself a very lucky dude.